Welcome back to another interesting video. Friends, do you know that to make the Titanic movie, millions of gallons of water were collected and a fake sea was made? And what if a real ship is crashed just to make a movie scene? Plus, do you know that in this scene of Joker, the whole building was destroyed in real? Well, in today's video, I will show you the most extreme and real scenes made in a Hollywood movie. So let's start our video. Joker scene. Friends, normally, CGI and special effects are used to make destructive shots in any film, but when it comes to making scenes realistic, not CGI, but real destruction is used for this. If we talk about Hollywood's famous movie, The Dark Knight, then there is a scene in it where Joker destroys a hospital. The hospital shown in this scene is actually a real 4-story building. This building was present in Chicago. During the shooting of the film, this building was used as a hospital. But you won't believe that just to shoot one part of the film, the directors had blasted the whole building in real. The destroyed building in the scene of Joker was real. Actually, the directors of this movie decided to destroy the hospital in real. This was a very risky job. First, it was fully prepared and the filmmakers had already informed the authorities. Not only that, but all the streets around the building were also closed. Heavy bombs were placed inside to destroy the building. In addition to this, 5 helicopters were used for aerial shooting, on which the cameras were fitted. Another interesting thing about this scene is that after all the preparations, when it was time to blast the building, this was not the first time it was blasted. But as soon as Joker pressed the remote button for the second time, there was a sudden explosion in the building. Before recording this scene, there was no planning. In fact, Joker was just testing the remote and suddenly there was a blast. But anyway, Joker's amazing acting saved everyone. If this hadn't happened, the building would have been destroyed and the scene wouldn't have been recorded. Plane hijacking is one of the few movies of Dark Knight Rises 2012 which not only made a sensation in Hollywood but also in the whole world. Basically, this is a superhero Batman movie, so the first thought that comes to mind is that it must have been made through CGI. But you will be surprised to know that most of the action scenes in this movie are real. For example, if we talk about its plane hijacking scene, then Bane destroys a flying plane in the air. Well, you won't believe that to make this scene, the plane was tied with ropes and hung in the air with the help of another big plane. These two planes were completely real. And when this plane was hanging in the air, then all the scenes inside the plane were recorded in the air. It means that all the plane disturbances in this scene were all real. Not only that, but the more shocking thing is that a stuntman was hired to destroy the plane. These people tied themselves with the help of ropes and they were damaging the plane parts one by one. In this, their lives were also in danger because hanging with a plane in the sky was not an easy task. Well, it looks like an action scene, but in reality, the actors played on their lives to make it. Not only that, but destroying such an expensive plane is not an easy task. Anyway, whatever it is, nowadays, movie directors can go to any extent to make a movie. Plane crash, friends, you must have seen aircraft crashing in action movies. Well, in movies, this is a normal thing and most of this work is done with the help of CGI. But what if a real ship is crashed just to make a scene? Well, the scene you are seeing was also something like this. This scene is from the Hollywood movie Tenet. You will be surprised to know that a real plane was crashed in this film. Well, for this work, the film's directors chose Boeing 747 and then crashed it in a building with the help of stuntmen. All the cars, buildings used in this scene were completely real. But the most interesting thing is that the film's director had no intention of crashing a real plane. Actually, he had to create this part with the help of CGI. But the cost of making this scene with CGI and special effects was more than crashing a real plane. So the directors thought that why not crash a real plane? So they bought a Boeing 747 and crashed it to make a real scene. This made this scene not only realistic, but also cost-effective compared to CGI. Nuclear blast. Friends, if you are fond of watching Hollywood movies, then you must have seen the movie Oppenheimer. This film is basically the story of a person who invented a nuclear bomb. In this, the whole process of making a nuclear bomb has also been shown. Normally, when it comes to making such scenes, the directors take the help of CGI. But in this film, the blast that has been shown, none of it is CGI based. But after thinking about it, if CGI is not involved in such a big blast scene, then how was it made? Well, the first thing is that to make this scene, the film's directors chose the exact same location, where the first nuclear test was done in 1945. You will be surprised to know that 68 tons of TNT bombs were used to make this nuclear blast. Just to give it a realistic look, the entire film's team put their lives at stake. Just imagine how dangerous it can be to collect and blast tons of explosives. But anyway, this scene was recorded safely. The shooting team said that when this blast happened, the whole earth began to shake and it created so much heat that it scared everyone. Anyway, going to this extent to make a movie scene is really stupidity. Who has not heard about Titanic movie? It was one of the most blockbuster movies of Hollywood based on the real story. If we talk about the scenes of this movie, then there are mostly parts in this film that have been shot in real. For example, if we talk about the Titanic ship, then the film directors had made an 800-foot-long and huge ship in Mexico, which was exactly a replica of the Titanic. Not only that, but when this ship was being prepared, the director of this film, not once, but 12 times, dived into the depth of the sea to see the real Titanic, so that he could make the film more realistic by seeing the real ship. Actually, his director wanted his ship not to look unreal from anywhere, but to remember Titanic by seeing it. And the interesting thing is that in this process, he also set the world's deepest SDO diving record. In addition to this, a very large nuclear plant was used to run the Titanic in the water. This plant had been empty for a long time and was not in use by anyone. So the filmmakers filled it with water and made a fake sea and started shooting the film. You will not believe that 7 core gallons of water were put in this plant so that it could give the feeling of the sea. This was the biggest underwater movie scene ever made in the world. Well, this movie was as realistic as it was expensive. In the year 1996, $200 million was spent on making this film, but this film was so hit that it did a business of $2.2 billion. This is really unbelievable. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye. See you in the next video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribing my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.